I'm with Tanya Scott and her family, and we're talking today about her sister Donna and her experience transitioning into a senior living community. So tell me about Donna. I want to hear all about her personality, what it was like as a kid. Tell me who she is.
Donna's my sister, and we're 3 years apart, and we're the only girls that our family had. Donna, very outgoing. We use the term carefree, spirited. She was very athletic. Donna would try anything. She could fix anything. Her hands was her gift. You know, she could do anything with her hands, electrical work, things like that. We were totally different in personality, and I kind of wanted to be like her, and she kind of wanted to be like me, but I didn't find that out until we got older, because I was like the little sister.
Okay. So tell me the relationship with Donna to you guys as well.
Donna is actually my first cousin.
Okay.
And she is very funny.
Very.
Yeah, she has jokes.
Can you think of something? What do you think of when you think of Donna? Is she just funny? She's doing...
Yeah, she'll make anything out of a joke. She's an artist too, so she draws. So yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Chris, what about you?
So Donna is my sister-in-law.
Okay.
And the first memory I had of Donna was at my wedding.
Okay.
And she came in this white suit that seemed to be kind of angelic. So that's kind of like my first remembrance of her.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you meet her one time, the first thing that you will notice is that she smiles all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of people say. She just smiles all the time. And sometimes you'd be like, what are you smiling about?
Right.
It was just her thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. So when did you guys come to the conclusion that Donna needed full-time care? And what did that look like as a family? What kind of questions did you have to ask yourselves? What did the conversation start with? Tell me about that process.
What I remember is her starting to pay her bills 2 and 3 times a month. Funny story, she used to help me do a budget. And I asked her if I could help her just kind of take that off her plate and maybe set it up online. And she had a lot of her things online. And that was the first start of her trying to relinquish over some of the independence. And that was very difficult, but that's when I noticed that, okay, she's gonna need more care than what we think, coming in and leaving her at home. She did have a car, and she had an accident.
She had an accident.
She had an accident on a car. She just bumped another car, but she didn't realize that she had, and then all of that just kind of was the start to little things that Donna did not do. So I think that was the first onset of, something's got to change.
Okay. You noticed these changes, these little things that were happening, and then did you go to the doctor? And then what did that look like? Did you start talking among each other, going, something's wrong? Do you feel like something's wrong? Did you second guess yourself?
I was talking to him more about it, like, do you kind of notice something's not right, you know? But she could laugh and smile through anything. And I just noticed she was very agitated and irritated a lot.
Chris, were you noticing this as well?
Yeah.
What were you saying?
And we kind of discussed it about, because to know her, she was very consistent. And so when patterns started being off, there was a change. And so we, at that point, knew something wasn't right.
And I took her to my doctor and said, hey, have you had like a woman's physical? Let's go get a physical. Let's check out some things while you're tired, like the natural things, thyroid, different things like that, get a blood panel. So we did that together. Everything was like clear.
Okay.
It was like, so they asked her, I remember sitting in the room with her, and the doctor asked her, so what's making you so tired? And she talked a lot about work. She was really complaining a lot about work, and she's not a complainer. So that was a key too.
Okay.
When we left the doctor, it was like, I think she's just kind of struggling with maybe depression and anxiety. And let's just prescribe her something for that. That's kind of where they went. Fast forward, some different things that I learned later. She was going into work, and leaving her car running the whole 8 hours while she was at work.
Okay.
So those kind of things were odd. And I kind of learned those later when I started getting her to more serious doctors, like, let's do the EPA, the Employee Assistant Program. Just get you to talk to somebody. And she agreed to do that. And I got her in to talk to a psychiatrist, and they told her, sounds like she's just tired. She's just exhausted. Depression is trying to slip in, so let's let's just treat that. And so she enjoyed talking to the lady, and she was coming around to herself.
Okay.
And so the doctor did look at her and say, you know what, I think she's just needing some rest, but I'm concerned about some of her cognitive abilities. Honestly, for me, I wanted to fix it. I wanted to fix it. I wanted her to be okay. So there was nights and days that she would call me, and she just wanted to stay on the phone with me because that felt safe. And I'd stay on the phone with her. I'll be sitting at work, working, and have her on my headset, and I just talked to her. Sometimes we just talked, and she's like, what's going on with me? What's wrong? And I was like, I don't know, but I need you to trust me. And I said that because she didn't have kids, and she wasn't married, and she hadn't had to depend on anyone for a long time. And what I learned about this disease, it causes us to make the adjustment. They can't make the adjustment. So the friendly conversation, don't you remember? Don't you remember? And that was more frustrating that she couldn't remember. And then,
Chris, I see you nodding. You must be thinking of something.
Yeah, because when you, as Tanya was saying, that you protect the dignity of the person. So when you coming into a space that you see something transitioning, what happens now is you become the protector of that particular person. So safeguards come up to where, don't you remember this? And in their mind, they're trying to navigate that space when it happened, and they can't. So as a protector, you begin to put shields up to kind of block that. And so you're very selective of letting people in that space to safeguard that person.
Right. So even with a family like yours who truly is hands on deck, everybody is trying to figure it out, you still felt somewhat in the dark by the professionals, and you didn't realize that there was something that could be helpful with something like a memory care community to alleviate stress and to perhaps help the situation. Am I understanding that?
Oh,
You
yeah.
felt just in the dark.
felt in the dark.
Yeah.
But once you start searching out these places, you start getting information. The Alzheimer's Association.
So you looked online.
I did. I looked
Okay.
online.
And I assume everybody was looking online.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Because Michelle works, her profession is working in the field with cancer patients. And I think I asked you a couple of questions like, what kind of help is out here? Where do you go?
Did you know?
No, I really not for that area, but I knew we could go online and try to Google stuff, and we was trying to go with the diagnosis, but at that time she really didn't have one, so
Right.
Okay.
that made it hard. So we just kind of just fishing it with the internet and doing the best we could.
Right.
When we decided to make the decision, we talked to her about it. She said, I just want my space. And
Tanya,
We
I
made the
see the
decision.
emotion.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So in other words, by giving her this home, you've also given her back who this beautiful personality is that you guys have all described, big and beautiful. So she was able to be back to who she truly is meant to be because of this care.
yeah, well, actually, when we took her there, my dad and I walked her in. We met everybody, and I took her to her. Michelle and I went and dressed the room.
Y'all got the room ready?
We got the room ready.
Yeah.
3 days before she got there, because they advised us that it's better for her to be familiar. So we took her furniture. We took her home with us, and then took her furniture out of her home, and we created this space because it was big enough to have her living room, sitting space in her bedroom. And the beauty about it was I didn't sleep at all the night before going. And my dad came over and he said, you ready? And the facility, I did get to visit, talk with them, tell them what my expectations were. She's very young. And this is brand new for us. We don't know what to expect, but they gave us some expectations.
So you walked in
We walked
and you
in.
felt cared for.
Yeah.
You were given the opportunity to make it her own. Did it
Yeah.
feel sterile, or did you feel like you walked into love?
You know, you can walk on a place and know, and that's what it was. You felt the warmth. The staff was great. The residents was great. Everybody was loving, the decor, everything was great.
What advice would you give to other families going through this process? What would you tell them?
Chris said it. Get a core. Come together.
core.
Yeah.
That's the first thing, is don't ignore it. Don't play it off. And there was a lot of fear. So
Okay.
the siblings and the family that's not hands-on, all of us are hands-on because we're a loving family. We help each other and we can help afar. Some just pay the money and I don't want to see it because I can't deal with it. But that's help too. And I would say to a family, don't let this separate you. Remember that's an individual that had a thriving life and they need assistance. It's like a pair of glasses.
Right?
And grief is real.
And
Grief
grief
And the
is
grief
real.
part is going to be real.
So you
That's
would,
the piece that you have to kind of deal with. The grief is real.
Yeah.
When you get to that point to say that, hey, this person needs this, they need this memory care facility, it's needed. You're going to
get
feel
some
the
help.
grief. You're going to feel that piece there, but it's okay. Then you have programs to set up to help you transition through your grief with that.
so you would tell them that it's okay to feel this grief.
It's okay to feel this grief.
Alzheimer's Association has been great for me.
And which was it?
Alzheimer's Association. They build relationship with you. They reach out to you and say, hey, we got this seminar. You were on our list. Are you interested in, let's register you. And it's a Q&A, and there's doctors that's doing research. So I've learned a lot. But on the front end, I'll say this to families, on the front end, you can be so overwhelmed. Too much information is too much information, and I don't want to talk about it all day because I'm dealing with the actual realness of this is happening, and then the work you have to do. So it's kind of like having a business but not wanting to do the work part of
Yeah.
it. So like you got an administrator, but you got something, this is the part I love to do, but this is the part I don't.
Yeah.
They go together, but that core team, Michelle and my husband and my dad and everybody that has stepped in to help, whether it's just to listen sometimes, it's been very, very rewarding. So I would just tell families, don't let this separate you. This is the time to really come together.
You just feel safe if you know if it's a safe place. You know she wouldn't be wandering out anymore, waiting for the phone call to ring and couldn't find her. We felt really comfort. We had comfort knowing
So
that.
you felt some relief.
Yeah,
It had been a long
definitely.
time
Yeah.
since you guys
yeah,
had felt
absolutely.
peace.
Yes.
And sleep.